This coming Sunday is the 31st Sunday in Ordinary Time. We are moving ever closer to the completion of the period of the liturgical year we call Ordinary Time. We continue to read from Matthew's Gospel. The passage for this Sunday is Matthew chapter 23, verses 1 through 12. Let's take a listen. Jesus spoke to the crowds and to his disciples, saying, "The scribes and the Pharisees have taken their seat on the chair of Moses. Therefore do and observe all things whatsoever they tell you, but do not follow their example. For they preach, but they do not practice. They tie up heavy burdens, hard to carry, and lay them on people's shoulders, but they will not lift a finger to move them. All their works are performed to be seen. They widen their phylacteries and lengthen their tassels. They love places of honor at banquets, seats of honor in synagogues, greetings in marketplaces, and the salutation, Rabbi. As for you, do not be called Rabbi. You have but one teacher, and you are all brothers. Call no one on earth your father. You have but one Father in heaven. Do not be called Master. You have but one Master, the Christ. The greatest among you must be your servant. Whoever exalts himself will be humbled, but whoever humbles himself will be exalted." Jesus is once again critical of the religious authorities of his day, the scribes and the Pharisees. He says they think they are being helpful when in reality they add to people's burdens. Rather than being helpful, they are often doing just the opposite. Jesus says they tie up heavy burdens hard to carry and lay them on people's shoulders, but they will not lift a finger to move them. He is also critical of their motives. He says all their works are performed to be seen. What can we learn from the negative example of the Pharisees? Jesus tells us at the end of the passage, "Whoever exalts himself will be humbled, but whoever humbles himself will be exalted." He calls us to be humble in helping our brothers and sisters. The Pharisees were self-centered in the attempt to help others. So the attitude must be one of humility, and the action itself must really help the other rather than adding to their burden. Two good questions. Am I being helpful? And am I being humble? Jesus, of course, gives us the best example of both humility and helpfulness. He is the one who takes the heavy burdens from us. He is the one who frees us from that which weighs us down. He is the Lamb of God who takes away the sins of the world, my sins and yours. He does so in a humble way, a way demonstrated best at the Last Supper, when he washed the disciples' feet, took the place of the servant, and gave them an example of how to serve. Let the greatest be the least among you. It may sound simple to have the right attitude and to actually help those you set out to help, and yet it is important in all that we do to have that kind of self-check. We want to make sure we do not set out to get as much glory as I can. And I want to set out to actually make life better for someone. The negative example of the Pharisees can teach us much, as can the positive example of Jesus. There is much to reflect on in this gospel. Let the gospel fill your week. See you in church. For now, God bless.